Wanted to go over with you on the advantages and disadvantages of actually residing in the Philippines. The Philippines is quite different than a lot of countries in the world, and it's really unique in the culture, but you're going to have to decide whether that culture is going to be right for you. So I'm going to go over the pluses and minuses. There are, in my opinion, more pluses than minuses here. Also, if you get a chance, if you would like to legally get your income taxes down to zero, or how to get a second passport as quick as 3 months, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Hit the button at the top that says Apply with Us, and then answer the questions, and then hit the button on the bottom that says Send to Us, and we'll get back with you and try to solve your problem. Okay, let's go over the advantages. English is one of the main languages there. In fact, it's the main written language because all of the signs in advertising businesses and things like this are all in English all over the country. You won't see anything in Tagalog advertised. I did myself. And so if you speak English, you get along real good there. It's also the most populated English-speaking country in the world that has a territorial tax system, in that if you live there, you reside there all the time, you don't have to pay any taxes as far as the Philippine income taxes on income made outside the country. Labor costs are extremely low at 300 pesos a day for minimum wage. That's less than $6 a day. I mean, that's incredible how cheap the labor cost is there. And they do have good quality workers there. So you could move your business there and probably cut your labor costs down 90% depending on where you're at. Also, if you like tropical weather, you'll get it there all year round. You can swim literally 365 days a year. I'm a big swimmer, so I like swimming, year round, but I like doing it outside, and I don't like doing it in a pool because you have all these chemicals and stuff. You're surrounded by a lot of different islands in the Philippines, so you can pick where you want to go and be close to the ocean and just swim in the ocean. That's what I like doing, and you avoid all these chemicals and stuff. There are great places to go diving and great beaches, but you need to be also aware of jellyfish. Jellyfish are predominant there, and they do have the sea wasp, which is one of the worst jellyfish in the world. So you need to be wary on when they're out in the water, because there are certain times of the year where they're worse than others. So this is something you need to know of, because people have gotten real sick from those sea wasps. Also called the box jellyfish, by the way. They're very poisonous. Also good thing as far as prices and go, food, electronics, real estate rentals, and things like this are real cheap, especially if you're outside of Manila. Manila, the rentals and properties that you buy are higher than the other places in the Philippines. You can get meals as low as under $2 a meal. I mean, it's incredibly how cheap the prices are there. You don't even need a car, because they have these vehicles called jeepneys and tricycles that you can take across town for less than a dollar. I wouldn't even get a taxi or rent a car if you went there. I was there for 4 months, did not use a taxi except to get to the airport from my hotel, and that was the only time I used it. And then getting my hotel from the airport. Otherwise, I use jeepneys and tricycles all over the place, and you can pick them up. Just walk outside and they're there. I mean, you don't even have to wait. That's the thing I like about it. Also, if you're single, you want to find a real pretty girl, they're all over the place. Women in the Philippines view guys from the U.S., Europe, Canada, Australia, and other countries as a great catch, even if you're 80 years old. It's very common in the Philippines to see a beautiful woman with a guy half or even a third of his age. This is no joke. You won't see this in any other country in the world except maybe Thailand, Vietnam. Those countries, they just view Westerners different. They don't look at you as trying to pick you out as a male model. They look at your wisdom. They look at your attributes as being wise. These are things that you don't see in a lot of other countries. So, if you're wanting to meet a real beautiful woman, this is a good place to go. I think it's better than probably any place in the world except maybe Thailand, and maybe better than Thailand. I've gone kind of back and forth on that. Also, I'm going to go over some disadvantages, because there are quite a few disadvantages, although I think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages. There are earthquakes and cyclones pretty frequently. And, I was there from September 2019 to January the 21st, 2020. And I experienced at least 10 earthquakes when I was there, and one was about 6.9 on the Richter scale. I could hardly stand up running out of the hotel. I was pretty scared, man. I'd never had a shake like that. Malls and buildings were damaged in several places there, but surprisingly, almost nobody died. So, you can, one thing I would tell you is if you go to the Philippines, don't buy a house or condo. In fact, you can't buy actually landed property unless you're a Filipino. But even a condo, I would avoid it, because if it gets damaged, then you don't have to mess with the hassles and headaches of an earthquake. Just switch to another rental. That's what I would do. Traffic in the cities like Manila, Davao, Cebu, General Santos are really bad. It took me 1.5 hours just to get in my hotel. It was only 4 miles away when I was coming into the Philippines. Air pollution is really bad in the big cities because of the large number of cars. Manila is probably the worst by far on pollution there. And the traffic is real bad there too. There's a real problem with burning of trash. Although it's illegal, people still do it anyway. It seems like everyone uses coal for cooking outside. It's a lot cheaper than gas or electricity. And I'm going to tell you something, Filipinos really look after their nickels and dimes. So they're looking to cut back on everything, even if it pollutes the air. So this is something you're going to have to think about if you want to deal with that. And I had a real hard time dealing with this burning of coal. It was a real problem, and the burning of trash. That was a real issue that I had, and it can get in your eyes and throat, and breathing can be a problem. If you've got a breathing problem, you might want to think twice. Now, you can avoid this somewhat moving in the outer areas, but you're still going to have trash being burnt, and you're going to have the coal being burned also. You won't have as many cars running if you get in the outer areas, but you're going to have to kind of check around yourself and see if you can deal with the outer provinces and the air pollution in that area. Healthcare is real good in the major cities, but if you get outside the cities, the pollution goes down, but so does your amenities like malls and good doctors and health facilities. The public hospitals would charge about 1/3 to 1/2 of what the private hospitals charge, being just as good. So you're going to have to, if you go there, I would scout out where the public hospitals are. So if you got to get to one quick, you can go there, and both of them are cheap, but I'm going to tell you something, the public hospitals are super cheap. So this is something you need to take in consideration. And I've heard people say that the public hospitals were actually not as good as private hospitals, but I went to a doctor that used to work in a public hospital and now in a private hospital, and she was excellent. So it just depends on your doctor, I think. One issue that bothered me the most was the friggin' roosters there, crowing all the time. I'm going to tell you something. They start real early. I'm talking about some of them started as early as 2 or 3, okay, not 6 or 5. And they're everywhere. The only way I can tell you to avoid them is to get a hotel that maybe is in an area that doesn't have, that maybe has a strong air conditioner. Use earplugs. You can get with them around the noise, but I'm going to tell you, they're that bad. I grew up in the USA, and it's against the law to have roosters in the city limits, but not in the case of the Philippines. They're all over the city limits, and so this is something you got to deal with. Also, if you want to learn how to legally get your income taxes to zero, how to get a second passport in 3 months, hit the subscribe button to the right of your screen right here. You'll get new videos as they come out automatically. Also, I'd like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below. I'll see what I can do to solve your problem. And go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Hit the top button that says Apply with Us. You'll get questions that come up. Fill those out, and then hit the bottom button that says Send to Us. We'll get back with you right away and trying to help you in your situation. We deal with 74 different citizenship by investment, residency by investment countries. You can look at our YouTube videos to see those countries. And I'll look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.